they tighten the gameplay up a little bit.
That's really what they need to do. Focus on the gameplay, and
Yeah.
of course, you know, it would be nice if they would also clean up the script a little bit. But yeah,
They're probably not gonna do that. But I don't know. It's possible. I think there's different voices this time, so they may. But it has the same. I think it's gonna have the same kind of like, I guess, impact as Type 0 when it came out on the remastered version. Remember when Type 0 came out on consoles? Like,
yeah,
it was good, but it still felt like a PSP game. Like, you
Yeah.
could still feel the remnants of it being a PSP game. I think the same is going to be for Crisis Core, unless they like.
it's the word is they're remaking it from the ground up. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But Max showed like a screen. Somebody linked the screenshot to Max in his stream.
Yeah,
Like a side by side comparison, and it's like shot for shot, just different like shaders and different models.
I see.
So I think it's a remaster for sure. It's probably the same thing as like how they handle Type 0, which is not a bad thing. Type 0 was not a bad game at all.
Right.
Like, it's just it felt like a PSP game when you played it on the console. So
Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm in favor of them doing a good job with that because, like I said, it had a lot of potential. They're probably going to re-release the animation that went alongside it as well.
oh, the last oh my god,
What was that called? Last Mission or something?
It's called The Last something.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, there is a Final Fantasy VII
Yeah.
animation. It's when Cloud was a soldier, but like he wasn't like first class or anything like that. He was like a grunt.
He's fucking stabbed Sephiroth with an entire Buster Sword.
Too good, dude.
Like, man.
Yeah, it's a decent animation too. So it's
it's
been
good.
out for years. You can
What
go
was
check it
the
out.
name of that? Let me see. The FF7 in the last. Oh my god. The last Order. Was that the name of it?
Is that it?
Yeah, it was called The Last Order.
Oh wow.
I know it was Last something.
I think the Turks are in that too.
Yes.
Like I think at least Sang and what's her name are in it.
Yeah, they did a lot of like Turks. When they first did around that Advent Children era, they did a lot of like, because they're remaking that game too. They're remaking that mobile game too.
Yeah, as a real game.
Yeah, Ever Crisis.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited. I kind of like. I want to see more Turk stuff in like remake now.
Oh, we definitely
Because-
should be because this is where Sang actually starts to play. Sang and what's her name, Elena? Like
Sang Elena,
yeah.
and all, but I hope they incorporate all the other Turks too, because it's like a whole group of them, like in Type 0. Like they all have their own individual weapons and shit. So if they somehow like squeeze all of them in this like in remake, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, they did
And
because they didn't all die, did they? Like
They didn't all die, no.
Yeah, okay.
Not that I recall. They were afterthoughts.
Yeah.
They came after the original game, so like. Yeah, I think they could definitely squeeze in, especially now that we're gonna have like Junon in this bitch. Like,
yeah, buddy.
That's when you start like seeing like all the pieces come together when the first Junon sequence happens. I'm so excited, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, dude.
So excited.
Yep. So fun times ahead. Also, congrats to you, Dragon's Dogma fans. I heard that Part 2 or the second game got announced.
They announced an announcement, and then on the announcement, it was an announcement.
An announcement of an announcement of an announcement.
Announcementception.
Yep. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a thing. It is coming. It is real. It does exist. You can watch the stream for. I don't think there's a trailer, but you can watch the stream for it.
Don't watch it, but he shows some shit that Capcom seems to forgot about, like Star Gladiator concept art.
Yep.
Rival schools, like they're mentioning this shit, and it's like, okay, you guys do remember this shit.
Yeah, now make something about it.
Yeah,
You
quit
jerks.
talking about it.
Jerks.
Like Jesus, but I will give Capcom a benefit of the doubt. Street Fighter 6 is looking good.
They're doing they're healing the wounds, man.
Yeah, they're healing their wounds. Resident Evil side is like they're sitting nice.
Oh yeah,
Resident Evil
they're sitting
they're
pretty.
always sitting nice.
Yeah.
Especially what they're doing, like RE8 with the third person mode. Like I'm definitely gonna jump in that shit.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, you guys are doing all right. Yeah, as long as you keep your fighting games on point, then we'll have like everything, together. Then I can't really complain, right?
Yeah.
And I like when I cannot complain. That's always a good time.
RE4 is probably going to end up looking. I know people are saying like, oh, it doesn't need to be made, like, which I agree.
Okay, I do too. But
I agree, but
yeah.
Like at this point, they've already done RE2, they've done RE3. They might as well just fucking continue the tradition of like reimagining these games. I'm all for it because the original RE4 is still perfect to me. I can still go back and play that game.
Yeah, it was a landmark game.
Yeah. It's still playable to this day. It's like 20 years old now. It's kind of hard to think about.
Yeah.
Like 20 years old, dude. I can't believe that game is that old now.
You know what?
Like
I know a lot of
when that came out.
I know a lot of people have been memeing, but like honestly, I can see them doing a Code Veronica remake.
No, they definitely have to.
I can see them doing it.
They have to at this point because the fans are asking for it. They're giving the fans everything else. They're giving the fans RE4 now, even though we don't need that shit.
Yeah,
might as well. They're probably gonna do Code Veronica.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Code Veronica deserves a remake. I think that game.
I agree.
That game has there's a decent game in there.
There's a lot they can repurpose in Code Veronica. A lot of like different things, especially like the main antagonist. Like they could do a lot with that. The Asher family shit in general. Like they could just add an entire like extra thing based on those twins.
Plus, I don't think they'd miss out on an opportunity to make good use of Claire, Chris, and Wesker again.
Yeah, well, they never actually like done Chris in this reimagined style outside of like Village. Like they never shown how he like Ricky Classic Chris outside of remake.
So it would not be a bad opportunity for us to see, post or pre Resident Evil 5 Chris.
It's kind of crazy, dude. Like I'm surprised like they haven't made like another remake of RE1.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Because RE1 came out, it's to me it's considered one of the best like remakes ever created. To this day. But like they could still remake RE1.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it was the right play to go to 2.
I think so too.
Because like that one remake, it's like they did it so many times.
We love our new home.
It's got granite countertops, crown molding. It's just
there's so much hammering in the neighborhood.
It's a lot.
Enough cereal. Oh, not cool, Thors. Anyone got a light?
I'll order pizza. At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
Does save us a lot.
See Marvel Studios' Thor, Love and Thunder, only in theaters.
Not good, man.
And for bundling made easy, go to Geico.com.
Hello there!
Hey, what's up?
Look at that! Whoa! Who's that? I'm coming! Thank you. You know, I control what I hear. You can too.
You're gonna tell us how we always do. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, nice save, buddy. 5 New Amsterdam vodka sodas, please.
The great ones always put the team first. New Amsterdam vodka. Find your wins.
It come out and said we're gonna remake RE1 again. Even if it was good like 2 was, I don't think people would have been as jazzed as they were for 2 showing up.
I don't know, man. Like with the reception of how RE2 was.
Yeah, but like that 2 doesn't have remakes. Is the thing.
Wait, what you mean?
Resident.
No, that's what I mean, though. But
yeah.
There's still the original RE remake is still based on the old school structure of the gameplay. Like it's based completely. It's not like it doesn't. It's not over the shoulder like 2. It's not like if they would like remake 1 again, unlike how they're doing RE2, RE3, RE4. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't change like remakes, you know, because the original developers did remake, you know.
Yeah.
These are like new kids on the block doing this shit. So it's like,
if I were Capcom, I think I would just let it stay as it is. Like honestly, like they don't need to do anything with 1 because there's already a really good remake of 1, and they, if anything, they just port it to the Switch or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's on everything now. You can get that.
Yeah.
On Lyric. What's up, Mary?
What's up, y'all?
Action Hank Beard.
Just talking about game news.
The game stuff, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, chat. We all
Dragon's Dogma and all of this.
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma.
They announced an announcement, and then on the announcement, it was an announcement. It's like, come on, dude, you could have just said this on Tuesday.
I know. You got them all jazzed up so that they could hear. I mean, look, it didn't dampen Dragon's Dogma fans from being excited because Dragon's Dogma 2 exists. It's happening. It's real. You know, I know they're hyped, so I'm happy for them.
I'm hella hyped for Dragon's Dogma. I love Dragon's Dogma, but it's not like one of those games. It's not Final Fantasy 7. Yeah. That's why they fucking slipped up. It's like,
yeah, why do that today?
It's on Tuesday, bro. You decided the wrong day.
Y'all couldn't
announce this.
Y'all couldn't wait till like the weekend or something. Y'all couldn't do it on the weekend. Like you gonna do it? Yeah,
I don't know why Capcom does that shit. Like they just announce. They don't show anything. They just talk about, yeah, you know, back in 2010 we did this shit, and it was like, wasn't this cool? Yeah, that was cool. You want to do this again? Yeah, let's do this again. We're redoing this again.
Yeah.
And that's the announcement. Like, come on, guys, you could have did this on Tuesday.
That's what led to them getting hacked. People got tired of them doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like when they got hacked, and they're like, oh, I guess we better just start showing them stuff. And then for this long period of time, you know, at least the stuff they got like shown in the hack, they were just showing us like games and stuff. They weren't doing all this coy garbage. They're just like, yeah, the game's coming. It's gonna be great.
I just realized something. I love how like they did show like quite a bit for Street Fighter 6 when they announced it. Yeah. But they still was like heavily leaking shit. They were like, nah, show all the fucking receipts. They instantly leaked the entire roster.
The whole roster. You know what though? Funny. I straight up believe Capcom leaked that themselves. I actually believe it. I actually believe that they leaked that one themselves.
Maybe. I mean, maybe they had to because maybe they were scared of like somebody like hacking them again.
You gonna learn this lesson. Stop playing around.
That's so funny.
Shit loud as hell. My bad, bro. Let me turn it down.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, they get tired after a while, and they're like, all right, I just want to...
turn it up to 15.
I just want to hear. I just want to see. Just show me.
There's a lot of good stuff, man. Diablo 4 is actually surprisingly looking pretty good.
Look, when they actually put their heads to it, and they're not drinking people's breast milk out the refrigerator, they know what they're doing. Like, they're actually good.
And I honestly think, like, it's a team thing.
What's good with you, bro?
I think different teams have different, like, you know,
I feel
problems and issues.
behind that.
Of course somebody got
I'm trying to do some,
dude.
not safe word stickers.
Diablo 4 is looking
particularly.
Like, I was like, oh, wow, this looks super
this
fun.
character.
Like,
Let me see if I can
top-down open world.
show her.
Play it like an actual, like, typical Diablo. Like, I'm like, okay,
wait 1
they
minute.
could do something with this for sure.
Yeah, and I'm hyped for Diablo fans. Y'all got a new job class. What was that? Necromancer or something like that coming in. So
you've probably seen her already. But it's the Ace Attorney.
We had Necromancer before, but
oh yeah. Okay, then I guess that was just them confirming Necromancer's gonna be in it then.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's, you know,
you customize your characters fully now.
Nice.
That's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's definitely not a thing in Diablo. You know, Junker Queen looks good, even though I won't be playing Overwatch ever again.
Yeah, Junker Queen looks pretty dope. Y'all know I'll be playing Overwatch, but what everybody's going to be looking at when it comes to that is just sort of like how they go about sort of like supporting it. The fact that it's going free to play is something that honestly they should have done a while ago, because you got other people dropping, you know, content drop after content drop, like Fortnite, Apex, Valorant. All those games are free to pick up, and then, you know, if you want to go in and buy other stuff, cosmetics and things like that, you can, right? And that just, like, at least for first-person shooters, it just seems to be the way to go. So They were slow on that one, but that's because they were trying to remain as an old-fashioned company in that regard. But it's like, if you're going to be old-fashioned, then you need to have the old-fashioned mindset of also making sure that the content is satisfying the players that are buying the game. And they weren't really doing that since they made this baffling decision to break Overwatch up into an Overwatch 2 when essentially it's just a glorified expansion, if we're being perfectly honest.
Yeah, they know they couldn't. After they shown that demo, they knew
it's good. It's good.
Like, you really didn't change anything.
Let me see. I'm trying to basically.
All you changed was just some skin, the actual textures.
Copy image.
We did.
Costumes. That's hilarious.
Yep, and there's PvE coming. So it's like, okay, dude, we're finally getting story and lore and all this stuff. We've been waiting for that. That's what I'm actually really excited about. It's weird for me to say that in a competitive first-person shooter, that the thing that I'm actually excited about is the one player and the or the co-op player modes with the actual story stuff, like story mode. I'm excited for that. I've always liked the character designs. I've always liked the world. I've always liked the story stuff. That was the main thing that brought me into Overwatch, and then the game was actually fun. And so I'm like, okay, I'm in, right? So Overwatch should be like a major like household name right now, but they really botched things. So hopefully they can pull it together. But yeah, there's a lot of good like game stuff in general coming out, but that's what you should expect around E3 time, y'all. You know?
Yeah. That and
is this Ryu's new theme?
Drawing some more.
Dang, they gave Ryu something with Ken's flavor in it. This is pretty sick.
Yeah, Ryu is looking like the top dog. Ken is just worse and shit. That's what I'm saying, man. The MGTOW lifestyle.
Look, Ken is you know what? The thing is, I am interested to see how Ken's story is gonna play out. Like, see if he gets his family back and everything, and finds his spark. You know how Stella got her groove back. Chat, y'all don't remember that movie. None of you do. Nobody remembers that movie. It wasn't even that good of a movie. So
I don't know how much faith I want to put in like Street Fighter's like fucking lore building and story structure, but
yeah, I'm gonna take it tongue in cheek, of course, right?
Yeah,
it's all memes to me, but I'm just happy that it's moving forward. After
I'm glad
years.
I'm glad they're actually like going on their SNK bullshit now. Yeah. Yeah, man. Ryu is like looking like a Chad now.
Yeah.
Man, they never have a home.
Giga
They
Chad.
never have a home. He's been traveling the world in a sack for over 20 years.
My man is like, doesn't need a home. Attains enlightenment.
I need no home. I need no women. All I need is fighting.
Yep.
He has on his Oro gear.
Yep.
Yeah.
With that whole plot line.
Yeah.
Y'all know at the end of the day he's gonna settle down with Chun-Li though, right? You know that's gonna happen. Like, we need quit playing. We need quit pretending. It's gonna happen at some point, and they're gonna have some kind of place for kids to be able to go and train and be safe and all that nonsense. She's already doing it. It's gonna happen. He's gonna finally attain what he's looking for. The Dark Hado is finally gonna be sealed away, and they're gonna get together.
It's a character in Ace Attorney.
It's gonna be cheesy.
Ace Attorney
it's
has
gonna be
a new
sugary sweet. Everybody's gonna get diabetes.
And everybody's been making their own.
I'm calling it.
As you can see, she's very much.
You know who's
what do they call it? Clussy. Clussy material.
That's not gonna happen. Capcom
that shit's stupid as hell.
You can't tell for sure.
That's not gonna happen, man. First of all, this is the first time DJ's even been back in like 30 years.
Look, man, we got fucking Blizzard making Venn diagrams off diversity.
That's Blizzard. You know the Japanese don't play that stupid nonsense. They don't play that crap.
Is this the sound of your summer? Put an end to mosquitoes with Dynatrap. First, the UV light lures them in. Then a whisper-quiet fan sucks them into the basket where they dehydrate and die. Just remove the basket to empty. With Dynatrap, you can enjoy the sounds of summer once again.
I'm trying to do it like a Overlord JC type of style.
Pure is what you
designs for the project. Nah, I didn't see the sign. Is it in the Trello, or is it in the Telegram? Where y'all put it? I need to work on some more of my damn own. I was thinking about making some character designs, but I'm just not sure how I want her to look at. I want her to have the afro, but I'm trying to give her like a skateboard type of style. All right, I'm gonna check it out right now. Give me a minute.
They don't care.
We'll see soon.
Yeah, we'll see.
DJ's heart belongs to Guile.
What are y'all talking about?
Wait, why? Why Guile?
Okay, dude.
Guile is soldier boy.
He is a family man.
Yeah. Guile is like the least popular character.
You say that Sakura's gonna end up with Ryu.
No, I said Chun-Li is.
Oh,
yeah. Sakura, I don't know.
People were going for that. People were going for that shit for Street Fighter 5 when she came out.
So y'all making your own characters and shit?
Nah, they're not even going to
age
vote.
gap between them, right?
Huh?
It isn't like a big age gap between them.
Yeah.
Yes, a huge ass age gap between them.
She was still in high school when when she first started learning from him. Ryu was in his late 20s at that point.
Yeah, even in like Street Fighter 5, she's like still in college or some shit like that.
That's not gonna be a thing. Like she's matured since Street Fighter 5. She understands what her admiration was for Ryu.
At this point in the story, I'm sure she's not a kid.
Y'all been working on it more than I have.
I mean,
heart. That's racist, bro.
Weird shit happens in real life, guys.
True. Man. That is true.
And also, this is Japan. Their age laws are completely different than ours.
That's also
they can
true.
do whatever they want.
Look, all I'm saying.
Realistically, Ryu wouldn't get with nobody.
But that doesn't make sense. Ryu just would not get with anyone. Like he's married to fighting. Literally.
Yeah, Ken was too, and you see what happened.
Yeah, fighting was the other woman for Ken.
Oh my goodness, she took the kids, Ryu.
Ken needs to. I bet Guile's like entire like fucking storyline with Ken is like you should have been a family man.
Guile apparently is doing the Goofy and Max thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
With Luke, because like Luke is his son, right?
Shape languages.
What?
I think that's the thing.
Is it?
Yeah,
is that his son?
Yeah, I think Luke is his son.
Oh, I never knew that. I don't give a fuck about him.
I didn't know he had any kids.
Well, there you go.
No, you know. Wait, y'all is like, he has a family, right? I should know this shit. I should know this shit because the canon is different than the comics.
Wait, what's the canon in the comics?
The canon in the comics is that
Luke's father died in a terrorist attack. Then is Guile supposed to be like a father figure? Because like they were, that's what they were talking about in the story crap for Luke, right?
I'm pretty sure Guile has a family, yo.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay. Well, that's fine because Luke would have been a terrible child. Ken and Guile are in-laws.
Yeah. He has a family. He has a wife named Julie and a daughter Amy. Yeah, so Guile legit has a family.
Well, man, let me do some.
It ain't Luke.
They don't never show Guile though. They don't never show Guile's family.
Yeah, it's not Luke. I don't know who Luke
not like
is.
that.
Like he's
just
he's uninteresting He
just
reminds
angry character.
me. He looks like Ninja. It's like
I didn't
his
know
own
that.
redeemed
I didn't know
quality.
that.
So
Yeah, he just popped up at
His
the end of Street
brother-in-law.
Fighter 5, and they're like, "Hey
Yeah.
guys, how about a preview of the
He's in a
protagonist
copy
for
of-
Street Fighter 6?"
I was thinking about getting that
I
Red
know
Earth.
They were trying to go with that Alex and
Like, I'm a-
triangle, but it just didn't
I'm
work.
thinking about getting that Capcom. Excuse me
Like,
for smacking y'all.
He's just not appealing.
rude as hell.
Alex is dope as
But I'm
shit.
thinking about getting that
He has a cool
Capcom
design.
collection
He has
just
he's
for
basically
Red Earth.
fucking
Red
anime
Earth look
Hulk
fly
Hogan.
as hell.
I
Like that,
just
that
don't-
black character,
I
the
just
girl.
don't like.
It's like a
but I
black
guess
maid.
the Zoomers
Yeah.
do. Zoomers
She
are
seems like a
probably
dope
into
ass
this, I
character.
guess. So, that's again, I have to consider who the core like target like audience is for, them moving forward, right? This isn't your dad's Street Fighter anymore.
Who that is? Yo, what's up, Chase?
What's good? What's good? What's up?
Chase
Hey.
Conley. That boy.
Right? Just
That
like I'm
man's-
just sitting here
the
like
man's-
Mr. Rogers, and then somebody else coming through the door. Like, hey, it's Chase. You come in.
Yeah, I was just like, yo, watching the finals. I'm done with my work for the day. I figured that I would harass someone.
Nice, catch
Yeah.
up, man.
Yeah, that's right. You can always come
Yeah,
through.
if anybody
harass
doesn't
us.
know,
What's
I'm
good,
listening
man?
to Overlord JC.
So,
Shit, man.
Wait, is it a game 7?
Past streams on Twitch.
Yeah, let's watch this game 6.
Okay, it's game
But
6.
it's an elimination game.
Yeah, because like if they don't win this time, that's it. It's a wrap, right?
Yeah.
Boston started the game at 14-2, and then they suffered the greatest run in NBA Finals history unanswered. And Golden State scored 24 straight points.
Fuck.
Unanswered?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, unanswered, 24 straight, and then so they went up like 14. They got it down. They're up like 18 or 19 now.
Oh
And
boy.
it's like midway through the third.
Oh, maybe it's the third. Okay.
Yeah, they got plenty of time, especially how many swings they've had in the series and shit, like back and forth.
Bruh.
Like,
Yeah, like turnarounds happen. Turnarounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, chat.
Bro, look at this. They already had a 14-point. They had a 14-point swing in the first half. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
that's
So,
fucking crazy. 24 straight.
yeah.
This is why I don't bet on sports, man.
Yeah, like
I know some
Yeah.
people sitting there, they real nervous right now.
yeah, I mean, that's the same with like fucking horse betting. I don't know how people
No, there you go.
fucking do that
And
shit.
yeah,
man.
at least there's more stats to back what's happening with sports, because like you can at least have
Yeah,
an idea
yeah.
on how some people will perform, right, and who
Yeah.
is in good form or not. But like, yeah,
But
sports.
horse-
I'm about to draw
it's
some
just
more
like,
concepts
yeah,
at home, bro.
you know, that horse might just decide
I'm
it
thinking of
has to
Erica.
take a dump or something like
Yeah,
that.
you don't know what the horse is thinking, man.
Yeah, you done lost all your money.
Yeah, I mean, you either are a protagonist in some kind of like.
I've been putting it on because I don't have any too much reference. of it.
extremely broke or extremely rich
But-
to be at the track.
Yeah,
Ain't never stopped me before. So.
that's like the
But, like-
only time I see fucking
Excuses.
fake horse betting is in those kinds of movies. I never
was it-
see anybody reference this shit.
Sounds
Somebody,
like,
yeah,
just
somebody
do
fucking
it.
desperate as hell.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
Yeah.
I gotta flip this $2,000
That's
into
so
$100,000.
real. That is hella real.
Some Brewster's Million shit.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, gambling in general, I'm just not with it, man. I'd rather gamble with my own fucking, like, I guess, investments and pursuits and, like, time. Time over money, man. Like, I'd rather invest time into bullshit than money into bullshit.
Yeah. Bet on yourself, chat.
Yeah.
Bet on yourself. 'Cause you have all the incentive to make sure that your bet actually pays out.
Yep.
All of it. And that actually
Well,
brings
these
me
guys
in,
are up.
that brings me into today's actual discussion topic. Today I was going to talk about art jobs and like when to consider taking them. I got hit up by some homies and they were asking around if people were interested in taking on this job, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's the job? You know, can you get back to me? It's like, yeah, they're looking for somebody to do turnaround stuff, and you know, looking for people that can consistently,
super good. You got a super good leg, man.
you know, stuff like that. And then I come to
Yeah.
find out, a little bit later that it's for Project L. There's an official post out now, so now he can openly talk about it. But it's for Project L, and they're looking for concept artists, right? So it's like it's something to seriously consider. It's like, do I want to take on that job and then I'd be hard focused on that? And that means I might be I'm sidelining all the other stuff that I want to do, and it's like, but it's a good opportunity, right? So chat, we got to look at when you actually do want to consider at least throwing your hat in the ring, because again, nothing's a guarantee, right? If people are asking you, or if they're coming to you, then you might have better odds than most, just because they might already be interested in you for all you know.
Yeah, they directly want you.
Yeah,
they already want you, so you're assuming if they basically.
Yeah, y'all remember what I said about how there are people out there that are already potentially watching, especially if you're dropping fire on your socials and things like that, right?
Yeah, it's scary.
There are always people watching.
They're watching. They have people that go through and headhunt out. They look for people. I mean, it's one of the strongest aspects of social media, being able to actually have this wide swath of being able to keep up with all these different skill, talent out there, right? So, then the question, becomes, so when do you actually consider, taking one of these jobs? Right? There's a number of factors in it, but I think the main thing that a lot of people consider is, am I actually good enough to go for this position or go for the job? Right? Well, there's one instance where if someone comes to you and they say, hey, such and such is curious about whether or not you would want to do this, or, people are looking for this, and I think this might be a
Blackout frizz in 98% humidity with new Nexus Ultralight Smooth with almond protein and jasmine flower. Our breakthrough system creates an invisible barrier to block out frizz weightlessly. Nexus, see the science.
Jimmy John's Chicken Caesar Wrap is back. Until it's not, of course. Only at Jimmy John's.
¿Cree que la sabiduría es un arma poderosa? Aquí tenemos munición de sol. Transformamos conocimiento en éxito estratégico. Explora más de 200 carreras en goal.com/español.
A dream is the spark of greatness, but it's nothing without drive. Introducing the all-new Honda HR-V. Power of dreams.
I didn't finish it though.
good for you. That can be a pretty good indicator that people already have confidence in your ability to be able to do the work.
I need to have like a specific file for her reference.
Some people hold themselves back because they don't know about themselves. They don't feel confident, or they don't have the confidence. So, I think a big part of that is kind of knowing yourself. I think it always comes down to, how well you actually know yourself as a person and as an artist, right? Which is why I always stress how important it is for you guys to actually be able to make that mental connection with yourself and your work and what you can do. You got to have those real conversations with what you want out of your art, what you want out of your, career path, a lot of that stuff. It comes, like, even when we start talking about, like, you doing your first commissions and stuff like that, right? And you having to be very realistic about what you're capable of doing, how quickly you can complete it, how competent you are at it, and then that helps you sort of like come up with your pricing, right? Because it's like there's a bare minimum for this pricing, and it's like if you go below that, you might as well go work at Burger King or something, because you'll be making more money there, right?
It's definitely a matter of confidence. It's something that you would know. I mean, you would know. Like, if you feel unsure about anything, then it's tied to your actual confidence level.
Yeah. I would say that there's always a little level of uncertainty, especially if maybe this is like your, even though you're familiar with the kind of work in that job, this is your first time, going in on a job like this, part of a studio where they have a pipeline. They've been doing this, like, this is literally their job. They've been doing this like all the time. And they want to bring you in, and then you're going to have responsibilities, and they're going to be counting on you.
I'm gonna do it like an action Hank Beard type of style. I ain't even gonna do
all of you guys,
super
I've done
detailed type
a little
of
bit of industry stuff. All of you guys are pretty well weathered in like industry stuff. When you got your first one, what was it like for y'all? And did y'all even consider like taking it in the first place?
I guess I'll go first because I didn't do that. Okay, industry job. Okay. For some reason, after all these years, I still don't count Udon as like an industry job because I really enjoy like drawing Capcom shit anyway. So I never really like saw it as like, you know, one of those things where I was questioning whether I should take this or not. You know, I was still like, I wasn't confident in my work. Like I was good, but I was still, you know, improving. I was still focusing on improving. I knew that my work wasn't up to snuff for certain things. So I don't know, I just still took it. But when it came to like later down the road, like for like, you know, like even Atlas, right? Even Atlas or like Sony, like real big companies.
Trying to figure out if I want to call out
that question always comes up. Like, should I take this shot with these guys? Like, because it's a new experience, right? Like, it's not something that you know. So I think you're always going to feel like that kind of like that lack of confidence because you haven't dealt with, you know, that manner of work before. Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, I still just went for it. I just like trying new things. I like trying shit out. You know, seeing what sticks, seeing what doesn't. That's pretty much like my MO in general.
Yeah. So I guess
Boston went on a 12-2 run.
What was that? 12-2.
So now it's only like a 10-point game.
What quarter? What quarter is it?
It's the end of the third.
That's gonna be an interesting fourth quarter for sure.
Fourth quarter is gonna be a nail biter.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. So I guess you weren't really like scared or concerned that you wouldn't be able to do the work because it was something that you were already interested in doing at the time.
It was something I was already interested in doing. But at the same time, I also had like a fallback. I had a fail safe. Yeah. So it's like, no matter what I went for, I always had like a plan B, and even a plan C. Plan C is kind of like, you know, 9 to 5. Plan B was the freelance shit. Yeah. Then Plan A is like all the, you know, company stuff you work for. Like I think as long as you have like a fail safe, I think it's easier to tackle, you know, prospective ventures. You know, with employers or, you know, working with different companies. Yeah. It gives you more wiggle room. If it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, like you have a 9 to 5 and then you have like this crazy art gig, like you've been grinding in your art while you're doing the 9 to 5, and all of a sudden you got introduced to like, I don't know, Hideo Kojima. He wants you to work in this fucking game for you, and it's like, whoa, this is like big shit. Like, you know, this is Hideo Kojima. I don't feel confident. Like I never worked on a video game like that ever in my life. But he likes my work, right? But like at the same time, like I don't feel confident like that. I haven't done that. And yeah, it could happen. I think it's all down to like, what are your, you know, your backup plans, you know? I think that's what it really comes down to. That's why I told you to take that shit. Because you have backup. You have like, you know.
Yeah, I can go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can go for it, and yeah, I'm actually heavily considering going for it. It would change up my plans a little bit because that means I have less time to actually focus on the stuff that, you know, I want to do. Yeah. Because that is a responsibility, right? You know, and I think that's one of the things. I think this would want to be one of the next sort of like major things to actually consider, right? Bless you. You are not gonna have time like you did before to focus on the things that you want to do, right? Whatever it is that you
So
want to do,
just
whatever you're trying to build up,
indecisive
your
with this
own
shit,
your
man,
own
going.
projects, your own brand, all those
I
things.
just seen the post.
You will,
Hey, I got
that
you.
will not be
Thank
sort
you.
of like
Thank you,
something
Drew.
you will potentially have the time.
Dude,
and
I just
focus
needed a
on.
reference, bro.
Anything's
It's so hard
possible
for me
with
just to
time
look up
management,
good
but
reference.
that's an optimistic
Thank
thing
you.
to say because you have no idea what things will be
That's
like
what I'm
when
gonna do.
you're actually in the trenches.
Bong.
And you know,
that's the downside for sure. I know when I
that's that
jumped on
samurai chick
Sony
too.
on the Boondocks, like I went into it.
It's that samurai.
Because I was still working on my game. I just needed. I wanted
Samurai.
some additional like revenue to put towards the game and shit.
Yeah.
By taking on a job, but once I took on that job, I was not able to work on my own shit. So it's like, then that became an issue. It's like, okay, like this is actually throwing a wrench in my plan. I don't have the energy to work
Look
on
at that
my own
bar
stuff.
right now.
Like I'm getting the money now, but like
she is fire. She be doing like real.
Something else has to give.
Nope, stunt
when it
man
comes to this kind of
moves and
thing.
shit.
And even like, even if you go for something like temporarily, you just may have it temporarily. Like you just try it out. Like, you don't have to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to like stay on board like for anything, like for the moment you need to. Just like in a comfortable job or you know, in any situation, you know, you could leave, you know, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a double-edged sword for sure.
Yep.
I don't like that.
What about you, Nuri? Because you've got a couple industry jobs under your belt as well. Matter of fact, they kind of started coming back to back, which is how it happens. They start passing you around the studio.
Iteration,
yeah.
I got my start doing my own thing. It's kind of just hard out there, selling it, and kind of building up, you know, attention around it on my own merits. And I got like a few opportunities that came my way early on that I ended up passing on because I felt like I wasn't, at the time, I wasn't really.
I want to make her look cool though. I don't know if
so I just
the
decided
aesthetic. She look too pretty.
I don't think
I like my chicks.
Something I should
look a little bit like on the grungy side.
Like my thoughts on
Like
that kind
this
of
one
thing is,
specifically, I want her to look almost tomboyish.
I personally believe that people won't ask if they don't see
what I mean?
potential is there for you to do the job.
I'm not sure if you've seen Likelihood's character.
But it's going to require you to put in work.
Character.
So you might
like
take on a job that you can technically do, but you're going to have to kind of work hard.
You know what I mean?
To get yourself up to speed for what the job demands. So in that sense, I think that
sometimes
a lot of times
she could put on girly
it's
girl
worth it to
outfits,
take it on
but
just
she
for the
can also
experience
do
alone. Because
the
some things will
tomboy
help
shit
you
and
just
still
become
look
a
sexy
stronger
as fuck.
artist.
I like that shit. I don't know why.
Yeah, I got my my first break in all this.
Yep. See, there you go. That's the one. That's the one. This is why I fucks with you, True. That's the one, my G. Alright, say less. That's the one. I can't even complain about that right there. That's the fucking one, bro. How you look at this? It's great minds think alike, boy. This nigga is on one right there. That's perfect. It's perfect. Cause she be do be like on some like tomboy shit too. Yeah, sexy and real. Cause she be like flipping up in the air with the fucking sword, a samurai sword. I'm like, who does this shit? Word, exactly. She probably what 5'2", kicking niggas' asses and shit. And ain't she from up north? Ain't she New York? Or am I tripping? She probably ain't, but I don't know.
Just a few pieces of
art that I've
UK
done,
designs and things like that that like resonated with a lot of people.
That's even
there,
more like
kind of
obtuse. Like I would never
coming along and
think of
asking
UK.
me, "Oh, be interested in being a
That's
part of
not
this."
regular. And she British, she got the
At
accent.
this point, I'm able
chip,
to
cheerio.
kind of just,
But I can kick your ass.
take my pick on what I feel like I want to be a part of, or what I have time for. But yeah, in the beginning, it could be a little bit scary because it's like you don't know anything. You kind of just learning the ropes.
Yeah.
That's all that's to be expected. But as you start to get more experience and connect with people also working in it, like Like I talk with people
Thank
like
you.
Chase about things that I'm familiar with. Because a lot of this is like I don't know what the hell this is about.
Man, I'm thinking about taking this shit to side.
Yeah,
So I got Paint Tool side now,
when you feel a
and
little
I
bit
can
like
create more faster in Paint Tool side. I don't know
Always
why,
helps
but
to have like.
it's just the brushes be moving a little bit different. So this is what I'm gonna do.
Especially when it comes to like
Open up
what they
Paint
trying
Tool
to offer
side,
in terms of like payment.
and then I'm gonna
Because,
switch
you
the
know,
windows to
They
Paint
can
Tool
lowball
side.
you. They will lowball you. And if
Yeah.
you don't know,
Give me a
just
minute.
say like, I think I want more than this. Then they ain't
Give me
they ain't
a
gonna question
minute.
it. Be like, hey, you
I got Paint Tool side
So,
because of Overlook JC
you know,
and
some of that is just like,
Riker.
you know,
Riker
jump into
draws.
the industry and
Excuse
this is the starting pay for a person working in this field.
Oh wait a minute, it just switched.
Yeah. You gotta kinda,
I didn't have to do nothing. Look at that.
gotta show and prove. But I am also of the belief that
I didn't have to do nothing. That's
these
perfect.
things don't necessarily make you in the way that people think that they do.
They don't.
Like, they're great because it's, you know, I'm working
Maybe I'd
with
switch
the,
that. That's perfect, bro.
you know,
Alright.
working in the studio. Well, not in a studio, but I am working for it. And,
Yeah.
You know, I get a weekly paycheck, and you know, this thing come with benefits and things like that. And I can, you know, have my name attached to these different properties. People can see my work in different meetings that they weren't able to see them before. All of that's great, but to me, nothing compares to being able to like make money on your own terms.
Oh, yeah.
So, like,
Yeah,
I would
it's
say
kind
that
of interesting. It's kind of interesting. Like you did the exact opposite of what I did, and also Chase. Like you were already like independent and shit for like years. But then like you jumped into like this stuff like just like as a like recently like as a late. It's kind of cool.
Year or so. When I
Yeah.
really, like, you know, outside of like a few freelance things here and there, this is like, you know, working at WB was like my first like studio gig full time. So, you know, like all of that stuff is like, you know, I don't take it for granted. It's been a great opportunity. You know, people I work with have been cool. Haven't had any real issues or anything like that. But it is still work. You know what I'm saying? You're working for somebody else.
Yeah.
And it can be demanding at times. I just like to think that when you're doing these things, that you are also like doing your own thing. Or don't stop doing your own thing, because it's easy to get like sucked into that, and that kind of becomes your life. I know Chase talk about that thing a lot too, where it's just like he's been doing this for like over 10 years, and he's at the point now where he's like, I want to make my own stuff. I've been doing stuff for other people, but I'm trying to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And you know, I feel him on that, because you want something that you can leave behind other than what you contributed to other people.
Look at him talking to us.
Yeah. You want a legacy.
Yeah.
Cause that's exactly what we're doing right now.
It's kind of crazy, man. Like hearing like Neri talking, like, and I guess this is like how people like look at all of us.
I was just
sometimes,
listening to Pen and Art,
like, art
and he was saying the same thing about capsule art.
Whenever I hear like Neri
I
talking
love
about
doing
struggling
fan
and
art
shit,
because
I'm
like that's what we love
bro?
doing. But it's like,
I mean, we
it
all
does
have,
come
like,
to a
our
point
own
where you have to do.
Yeah.
For me,
like
like,
shit.
I've been doing art my whole life, but like I started kind of late, relatively speaking, in terms of like working professionally with my art. I've been like selling my art as far back as high school, but I wasn't really doing it as a career move until you know, a few years ago, before I had my first baby. So, I mean, certain situations in life kind of put a fire up under you, I would say.
Him do that shit,
but
I don't know how y'all got time.
the rest of it is just like, you know, how much you want to get out of it. Like I like the idea. Like I don't. This is the thing about me is I don't like working for anybody.
Yeah,
I don't like working for anybody. Like I eventually get tired of like doing stuff at somebody else's pace, and it was just like, bruh. And most of it was because I was working a job I hated. Like things that started out I thought might be cool. Like when I was doing caricature art and stuff, I was like, this on the surface it sounded cool until I did it for real, and I was like, this shit actually ain't for me. Yeah. And then I realized like, oh, I'm making far less money doing this than I could be if I were to just do this myself. for
You
myself
gotta change the color.
instead of
get the
working for
color.
another person.
Sometimes
and then having
it's
to
the
take
weirdest
that money
shit.
that
So
we
it's the
make
brush, it's the program, and
and
it's the color of the
basically
brush.
split it up
sometimes.
amongst everybody
Yeah.
that works. Like, no,
That's
this
when,
is what I made.
Yeah, that's when my
That
face
to
would
me
have
was
soured.
like,
Yeah.
this is ass, dude. This is ass. Like, I set my ass out here in this hot ass sun and drew these folks. This is the money I take home.
That's what I'm saying. Like the amount of
I'm already
money,
seeing
the amount of money companies
a
make off
different face
artists.
just that quick.
Like artists don't even know, man. Like,
dude, that's even worse because like
it's astronomical.
if somebody's jobbing it up, then that means that's less money going around to all of you because somebody ain't.
Somebody's
their own
taking
weight.
all that shit for themselves, man.
Somebody's
That's
not
what I'm
carrying
saying.
their weight.
Yeah.
Like you got to split
Yeah.
it up, and I guess it's so people don't feel bad or whatever. I don't care. Like
I
I'm
don't like that, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
garbage.
Like, dude, you gotta pull your weight, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I can't.
Or let me keep what I, cause like, I believe in hard work being rewarded. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
put in the work to do this, so I should therefore reap the benefits of the work I put in.
Now,
When
I'm
you
not
work
saying.
with a team, everybody, it's like, you know how you were in school or in college,
Yeah.
and you had to do a damn group project.
Yeah,
and
it's
they
kinda
put
like
you
that,
in a
yeah.
fucking group with the people who don't never show up to class, don't never do part of the damn project.
He talking about
and
me.
then come time when the shit
He
is
talking
due,
about my ass.
you still expected to deliver on this thing.
Yeah.
And then they be looking at you like, why your project not complete? Because you paired me with this fucking dude who won't never show up to class. You know why my project ain't complete? and then the other thing is they want to show up at the end.
Like,
trying to
yeah.
be like, yeah, I was part of it.
Yeah. So what we
Like,
so what
bro,
we
you
doing?
do nothing.
What do you mean what we
Yeah.
doing? I had to do everything.
It's basically the entire fucking the poem with the hen and the other barn animals when they're cooking the shit.
Yeah.
Whatever the name of that. It's literally that fucking fairy tale or nursery rhyme.
Yeah,
It's like
the hen's out there. She's doing all the cooking, and she's asking the rest of the animals like, who will help me,
Word.
gather the ingredients? Who will help me make the batter? Who will help me do this?
not I said the cow, not
Right.
I said the duck. Like,
Now, who will help me eat it? And they're like, oh, I will.
Yeah,
She's like, nah.
Yeah, like, get out. Get out my house, bro.
Like, nah, you didn't help do anything. You don't get to have none of it.
Yep.
Nah.
And that's kind of like how you have to move. Now, I'm not gonna say there's not any like no benefit for like working in the industry. There's tons of benefits.
Yeah.
Tons of benefits. First off, networking. You get in contact with so many like the right kind of people. That will just be like mesh well with you. You have like those bonds for years too. And then like just the experience in general. I think it's like working on different projects. Like for me, like working on all those projects, kind of like I understood. I pulled different things from certain projects, right? Like different industries, to apply to my own thing I'm trying to do, right? Like I was trying to understand. I was dissecting and like studying what my bosses were doing when it came to like money deals with like different companies for like licensing, all kinds of shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? And all that shit is like very valuable. Like if you actually like, I guess Kirby sucked the powers up and incorporate it into your own thing. It helps a lot. So if you ever want like insider knowledge, that's like the best spot to get in.
That's true.
And this in general, just to have the accolades. If you're into that kind, I don't really give a fuck about credits or accolades. I just don't care. But like, if you're into that stuff, it's good to have that stuff on your tool belt. So I'm like Pokemon matches in a way. Like, hey, I did this thing. I worked on this project.
Yeah, those are the things that help build up your reputation. You're like, oh yeah, you did this, you moved that, you've been a part of that, and then the thing is, a lot of people know, especially the ones that are watching you, they know a lot of things that you've already been a part of through the grapevine, right? And they're like, oh, this person's not doing nothing right now. They might be a good fit for whatever. What about you, Chase? Like, what about your first industry job? What was the story like for that for you? What is this man? Oh,
he's like,
he watching again.
Yes, no comment.
Nah, hold on, man, my bad.
No, you good.
I had a mouthful of food, yo. I was like, yo, you would ask me this question as soon as my mouth
I heard you eating, and I was just like, let me see if I can get them in between bites, but Nah, you over here bashing.
My DoorDash just got here. I was destroying that. What was the question?
Oh yeah, what was it like for you when you got your first industry job? Were you just like all gung ho, like yeah, I'm ready to take this, or did you actually question whether or not you were gonna take the job and whether you were good enough to take it?
That's a good question, man. Like,
what was your first gig, Chase?
I worked at for the Bell Brothers doing Wheel of Time.
Oh,
okay.
I remember that.
Yeah. I was 19 when I first started that book, and then it didn't come out for a while. It wasn't good, but so I had like somewhat of what I call I don't want to say this because I don't define myself as that, but I define my mind state as that. Prodigy syndrome, where I felt like I understood a lot naturally, and I didn't work as hard as people think I did to understand
That's
stuff.
me too.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I feel that.
And so at a point when I was about 16, I was like, yo, the stuff that I'm looking at on the stands, I can do this. I want a job. So by the time I was able to get a job, my first job was going to be Marvel. And I won a portfolio review. This is back when Joe Quesada was still editor-in-chief, and C.B. Cebulski, who's now editor-in-chief, was just... he was one of their bigger editors.
It was like 2005 or something like that?
That was 2005, yeah.
Yeah, 2005, something like that.
Yep. And I won that portfolio competition, and I got him to review my portfolio. Joe Quesada, he was like, "Yo, you're amazing. We want you to work with Marvel starting tomorrow. We're gonna get you some stuff on some Marvel Adventures stuff, which is where they test new artists out by just basically retelling old stories again." And
that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, Chase, you should also let them know that times were different when it came to portfolio reviews and shit.
Yes, it wasn't the same.
It's not like how it is here.
No, it wasn't the same, but the thing was, it's like all that happened, but they never sent me a sample script. And then when they sent me a script, they wanted me to draw 8 pages for free. I was like, I'm not really digging this. Like, I don't want to try to audition for you, like do 50 hours worth of work in a week. This is how they get over on me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm not doing 8 pages of a sample page.
Dude,
that's insane.
Yeah.
That's 50 hours.
You reminded me of a time when I did like
50 hours of free work, so you can just say no.
Dude, I did a color test for Marvel, like a Fantastic Four, like 8 pages or so. And like I smashed the fucking colors. I know I smashed the shit and still got told no. And I'm like, I'm never like it was a waste of my time. Absolute waste of my time.
So they had you do. They wanted you to do 8 pages.
That's what that was the standard back then for DC and Marvel. It was 8 pages.
Any kind of fucking submission thing.
Yeah, and they sent you a sample script. They sent to everybody, and it's a dense sample script.
Yep.
And you got to draw all this shit, and it's 8 pages, pencil.
I gotta turn on this fan.
So halfway through the pages, like this is after I've already talked to them and everything. I called C.B. Cebulski mad times over and over. He didn't pick up a phone call over the whole summer. And after giving me his number and telling me call him, and then it was like, bro, you think I want to be calling your old ass? Like,
bro, your shit sound like fucking J. Cole was kind of like all Jay-Z for this.
Yeah, like, I'm not here calling you the whole. You gave me a number, now you're not picking up the fucking phone. That shit made me feel some kind of way. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I would have felt tight.
Hell yeah, because I'm like, yo, I'm leaving messages. Like after the 3rd message, you got me feeling like a whole fucking troubled ex or something like that. I don't want to feel like I'm harassing you.
So funny.
You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting how life works, man. Considering what you do with Marvel now, it's fucking wild.
So at the time, like, it was just hard to even like communicate with them, and they were asking like a lot from you. But you ended up eventually like taking this job.
Well, that's not how it happened.
Okay.
That's one part of it. So
Okay.
During the during the initial review process after that happened, so you're up on stage with everybody. So all the small press guys run up to you. So they were like, so this was the thing. I had stayed up 24 hours to do my 3 pages that I took in to get reviewed for the portfolio. Because I heard there was a competition. I did it all in one day. All 3 pages. And I had to stay up all night to get it done. I got it done like 1 hour before the show. I went up there. Joe Quesada was just dumb quiet when he looked at mine. And he was like, I have no notes for you. You're already ready. You got things that you can improve on, but you understand this stuff. He was like, I was just so quiet because this was the first time I saw yours. All these other guys were so rude and came to my hotel room the night before to drop off their portfolios. He's calling these guys out right in front of him. He was like, these guys dropped off their portfolios the night before trying to get a leg up, and here you come in. And see, this is the thing. CB had to track me down because the Dub Magazine car show was next door. Man, I was over there looking at them cartoons, bro. What you talking about?
Dude, that's kind of dude. This shows the fucking importance of just how the way you carry yourself too, like how that matters way more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, if you just fucking stay chill, man, and focus on your shit, like
that's really all it's about, bro. Because you're a regular dude. You're not harassing me. You know what I mean? He was like, I appreciate that.
There you go. Yeah, this is your story. I'm just listening.
Yeah. So
I'm fucking engaged as fuck.
CB had to come find me. So it was like 10 minutes. So by the time I had got up there was only one more guy that had to go before me. And so they found me before the competition was over. So CB was running around the hall trying to find me. He screamed my name from the top of an escalator all the way across the whole hall. Chase! I was like, yo, what?
Hilarious.
And he was like, come to this hall. And so I went in there. So anyway, when I was in there, Dynamite was in there, the Bell Brothers were in there, there's a bunch of other smaller people. Okay. And so I took the Bell Brothers number because they was brothers. And I was like, yo, okay, well look, I'm gonna fuck with the brothers and shit, because I'm really, I just was just on some like, yo, let's do some black comic book shit, And they had all the licenses at the time. They had all the literary licenses. They had Game of Thrones. They had the Dresden Files. They had Wheel of Time. Every major fantasy book series, they had the rights, the comic book rights to. So I talked to them. They were right in Atlanta. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is cool. Like, I ain't got to worry about moving nowhere. So they started giving me work. But they started giving me work, and I'm just so excited about getting the work. I'm not invoicing for a month. Oops. And so then, like, think you work for a whole month. I worked, 40, 50-hour weeks for a whole month, and then they didn't pay me. And so then
sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm working for another month, and they're like, "Yo, we got you," and then before you know it, you got mad hours banked, and so they owe me thousands of dollars at this point. So then they sent me a little bit of it, and me just hoping to try to get the bread. I tried to stay cool with them and keep doing the work. Yeah. And mainly, I was just happy to get like a decent check for once. And that went on for about 8 months, and then I ended up calling this cat Ernst the Bell or whatever, and cussing his punk ass out because I was like, "Yo, you guys are trying to play with me."
Yeah, you got my money, man.
He was like, "Yo, who you think you getting loud to?" I was like, "Yo, you heard what the fuck I said. Yo, send me my money." And
people don't understand, man. We had to get gangster with these.
Yeah, I held the phone on him, and I didn't hear nothing back from him for like 2 months. And then next thing I know, Nick Barucci, the owner of Dynamite Entertainment, had bought them out and paid off all their debts to people. They owed people in Brazil $30K, people here.
What?
Because they were getting whole books illustrated and not paying people.
Oh no.
Like they were working with international artists who were just happy to get work and shit like that, or young artists like me was just happy to be working.
Fuck Marvel for that shit, boy. That is
so
crazy.
Then,
that's Marvel, dog.
Nick was like, "Well, we're not gonna continue doing Wheel of Time with you because you don't seem like you want to be on the book anymore." He was like, "I got this other book, the Dresden Files. We're doing the 3rd volume of that, the Full Moon, the 3rd book. And do you want to work on that?" And so I started working on that, and I started drawing that. By this time,
did you ever get paid for that first year?
I didn't. No. So there was 2 things I did. So the Malazan,
I think it is Marvel, bro.
Marvel books. It's like Gardens of the Moon.
But you are right. He did say
Bell
Brothers.
I did a whole bunch of developmental work for that, like a bunch of character design. and it wasn't just pages. It was doing design. I was doing all that kind of stuff. So they kept
Let me
me
go
busy
back.
for
Let me
about
go back. Let me
a
go back.
year and a half.
Let me make
but
sure.
that first
I don't
one, the
wanna be
Malazan
calling
stuff
Marvel
went
out and
kind of
do that
smooth.
shit.
They paid me here and there, but it wasn't comic book page stuff. So it wasn't like it was racking up. You know what I'm saying? So they were able to throw me a little bread, like, oh, here's
It was just get by shit.
Yeah, you feel me? So to me, it was like, okay, I'm just happy to have this job, and it's like, oh, they're promising me continuous pay. Okay, amazing. We want you to work with.
Yeah, Marvel. He's just
like,
about to say it.
Amazing. We want you to work with Marvel starting tomorrow. You know,
See?
we're gonna send you and get you some stuff on some Marvel Adventure stuff, which is
So they played him to get him try to basically. You got to get slutted out to work with Marvel.
Oh, Chase, you should also let them know that times were different when it came to portfolio reviews and shit.
Yes.
You got to get slutted out. They got to use you for all your fucking work.
No. You know, the reason why also is like at this time I'm really heavy into manga. Like I was already heavy into it, but now I'm really heavy into it, and I'm like, you know, Naruto is in like.
Well, that's when he was trying to get into Marvel.
It's like all that happened, but they never sent me a sample script. And then when they sent me a script, they wanted
see, this is the beginning
draw
before he even tried it.
I was like, I'm not really digging this. Like, I don't want to try to audition for you. Like, do 50 hours worth of work in a week. This is how they get over on.
He's trying to audition.
Like, yo, I'm not doing 8 pages of a set.
Dude, I was like, I'm
gonna do 8 pages.
8 pages
to everybody. Number and telling me call them and then talk to them. 8 pages, pencil. B. Sabowski, mad times, over and over. He didn't pick up a phone call over the whole
So he was calling people after that because they basically wasn't hitting them back up.
Call him and then it was like, bro, you think I want to be calling your old ass? Like,
bro, your shit sound like fucking J. Cole was kind of like all Jay-Z for money.
I'm not gonna lie, I would have felt tight.
Hell yeah, because I'm like, yo, I'm leaving messages. Like after the 3rd message, you got me feeling like.
So this is a company underneath Marvel. It's not specifically Marvel.
Like
Go back.
You think I want to be over and over? He didn't. So halfway through the pages, like this is after I've already talked to them and everything. I called CB Sabowski.
So he did halfway through the pages.
Over and over. He didn't pick up a phone call over the whole summer. And after giving me
he's calling him to get his money.
Call him, and then it was like, bro, you think I want to be calling your old ass? Like,
bro, he called him because he's 4 pages in and he ain't got paid yet. But they said that if you do this, you could possibly work for Marvel. So they're like subsidiary companies underneath Marvel.
I'm not gonna
so like I said before, you gotta get slutted out. It is wild crazy, but I believe that this is more than likely true, bro.
Troubled X or something like
That's
that.
why nobody want to do that shit.
I don't want to feel like I'm her thing. So quiet because this was the first time I saw yours. All these other guys were so rude for cartoons, bro.
Stay chill.
He's still in a hotel watching cartoons.
I took the Bell Brothers number because they was brothers. Comes in from on the top of an escalator, all the way across the whole hall.
So he basically he gets called back to the what you call him.
And he was like, come to this hall. And so I went in there.
To the hall.
So anyway, when I was in there, Dynamite was in there, the Bell Brothers were in there, there's a bunch of other smaller people. Okay. And so I took the Bell Brothers number because they was brothers. And I was like, yo, okay, well, look, I'm gonna fuck with the brothers and shit.
All right, so you right. Because he did say, I'm gonna fuck with the Bell Brothers.
Let's do some black comic book shit, you know? And they had all the licenses at the time. They had all the literary licenses. They had Game of Thrones.
I was about to say, that's even more fucked up because they were brothers.
Every major
they were literally black men.
They had the rights, the comic book rights to it.
Because he was trying to go with black people.
I talked to them. They were right in Atlanta. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is cool. Like, I ain't got to worry about moving nowhere.
And they from Atlanta.
So they started giving me work. And I'm just so excited about getting the work. I'm not invoicing for it.
So you right. That's even worse though,
true. I think you work for a whole month. I worked
so his own people fucked
50 hour weeks for a whole
wouldn't
month,
pay him.
And then they didn't pay me. And so then
40, 50 hour weeks.
Yeah, I'm working for another month, and they're like, yo, we got you. And then before you know it, you got 80,
so somebody bought out that company.
And so they owe me thousands of dollars at this point. So then they sent me a little bit of it, you know, and me just hoping to try to get the bread. I tried to stay cool with them and keep doing the work.
That's even worse though.
I
ain't even gonna hold you. It'd be different if it was the Marvel companies because you expect big ass companies to do that. Don't get it twisted. Marvel ain't the best. They ain't the prettiest when it comes to paying their people the right
you guys are trying to play with.
Yeah,
He
my
tried to
buddy,
play-
the
he
Bell
was
brothers,
like, yo, who
they
you
fucked
think you getting loud to? I was like, yo, you heard what the fuck I said, yo, send me my money. And
He sounds like a
people
pimp.
don't understand, man. We got to get gangster with these.
Yeah, he
motherfuckers.
sound like a
I
pimp.
hung the phone on him, and I didn't hear nothing back from him for like 2 months. And then next thing I know, Nick Barucci, the owner of Dynamite Entertainment, had bought them out and paid off all their debts to people. They owed people in Brazil $30K, people here
What?
because they were getting whole books illustrated and not paying
50
people.
hours of drawing.
And they were working with,
I do that
international artists who
doing
were just
my
happy
job,
to,
but
like,
it's like
you know,
still
be
like
getting work and shit like that, or you know,
that
artists
shit
like me
get
was
exhausted.
just happy to be working. And then so then
I might have to see your ass.
Nick was like, well, we're not
50
going to
hours a
continue
week.
doing Wheel of Time with you because you don't seem like you want to be on the book anymore. He was like, I got this other book, the Dresden Files. We're doing the 3rd volume of that, the Full Moon, the 3rd book. And do you want to work on that? And so I started working on that, and I started drawing that. By this time,
Did you ever get paid for that first shit?
I didn't. Nah. Oh, so there was 2 things I did. So, you know,
My bad, yo.
Malazan.
I turn on the fan because it's
fantasy
hot as
novel
hell
books.
in this
It's like
room.
Gardens of the Moon, it's Malazan. It's another fantasy series. I did a whole bunch of developmental work for that, like a bunch of character design. And it wasn't just pages. It was doing design. I was doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
might as well
they
do
kept
my
me
own
busy
thing.
for about a year and a half. But that first one, the Malazan stuff, went kind of smooth. They paid me here and there, but it wasn't comic book page stuff. So it wasn't like it was racking up. You know what I'm saying? So they were able to throw me a little bread, like, oh, here's
It was just get by shit.
yeah, you feel me? So to me, it was like, okay, I'm just happy to have this job, and it's like, oh, they're promising me continuous pay. Okay, cool. You know, well, I ain't got nothing but a little weed habit and $300 overhead because you know back then apartments for 2-bedroom apartments.
Oh, apartments were so cheap.
$650, bro.
Yeah, I missed that shit so much.
For a 2-bedroom, so you know, all I had was my $650 I had to get together every month. You know, so I was good.
Where you living at this time?
In Charlotte.
Okay.
Hell yeah, and
Yeah, that sounds
so then
right.
I
South.
23 rolls around, and I'm, you know, so I've been drawing the Dresden Files, and I've been working for Nick, and Nick pay you on time. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, animation always good for that shit.
well, not Nickelodeon, Nick Barucci. So for Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Yeah,
Dynamite is like it's always like those like the big ones. They'll never fucking pay you on time. It's always like Dynamite. You know the fucking publishers that are on level like that level.
Like Boom.
Boom.
You know, like that.
Yeah.
Skybound will pay you. They pay you quick. Like,
I don't know what Marvel's like that.
Yeah, it's
I don't understand.
it's the whole thing. Oh, so yeah. Anyway,
See, he said Marvel. That's why I be thinking it is a
So then I
subsidiary
started
company.
working on the Dresden Files. I started working on the Dresden Files, and then at that point I was
Marvel
like,
probably
fuck
has
comics.
little
You know,
kids
you know,
companies
that's
like
what robbed
Bell
me of their
Brothers or
soul
whatever
and
the
shit.
brothers were. They probably have kid companies from Marvel. You know what I mean? So they give other people the rights to do certain characters. You know what I mean?
At the time, you know, the reason why also is like at this time I'm really, really heavy into manga. Like I was already heavy into it, but now I'm really heavy into it, and I'm like, you know, Naruto is in like it ain't even Shippuden yet. You feel what I'm saying? Like it ain't even a time jump yet, and it's so that's the point it was, you know. And I was
saying it wasn't even Shippuden.
It wasn't even Shippuden yet. Like it was still just Naruto, you know, and I was my influences were changing. So I was like, I didn't want to draw superhero books, so that's why I was on the Dresden Files. But then I was like, I don't want to draw this white man fantasy. Like, why white man fantasy? Why every white protagonist that uses magic got a fucking wand and a trench coat? It's different type of shit. You know, if it's like, oh, I'm a paranormal detective. I'm a white guy. I got a trench coat.
He's a fucking fool.
Like that's what it felt like to me. And I was like, I'm not trying to draw this shit. Like, I feel like I'm not like, yo, I'm hip hop anime kind of guy. You know what I mean? This industry that is allowing me to express myself in terms of my culture. So my love affair with the industry in itself is kind of sort of waning. And at this time, you know, I was talking to LaShawn about it. You know, I know LaShawn since I was 17. So around this time, I'm about 21, 22. And we've been trying to get me on game. Chris and Justin Copeland just moved to LA. And they were like,
I remember. It's kind of funny. Yeah, dude. Because I used to go to the fucking shows with Chris and Justin like every year.
Yeah.
When they left to LA, I was sad. I was like, nah, bro. Like,
because they were the convention dudes that always be around. You know, I met the Heroes Con and shit with Karan Jones
and all them. Yep.
And all them and shit. You know,
they still do HeroCon?
Yeah, it's like this week or something like that. It's Father's Day weekend. It ain't already passed. And so he would have been like, yo, you need to be a board artist. So I've already started learning, studying boarding and shit like that. And
they were definitely preaching that boarding shit once they
early on.
Yeah.
And so I started getting my game right, and then my boy who lived in South Korea was like, yo, I'm about to leave. I can help you get sponsored for a fine art visa here. And because he worked for the university, and one of the universities. So he did it. It took a few months, but he was able to get me I think it's an E6 visa.
Yeah. This is before LaShawn went to Korea, right?
No, LaShawn had already been there for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
I left, and then I worked on the rest of the Dresden Files pages that I had under contract while I was there. Yeah. I was able to spread them out to where I could do 3 a week, and they wouldn't be mad. So I'd wake up every day and pencil and ink a page, and then just go out and about and fuck around the country. And then while I was there, I went to go visit LaShawn in Seoul because I was in Busan, and I went to Amir and I went to Moi Animation. And when he was at his desk, he had a desk at both.
We'll probably make this another character.
His desk at Moi had the Black Dynamite.
Because I kind of like his character, but I still want my character to have locks.
And I was like, what is this? And he was like, you know what, man? I'm going to call Carl, bro. You'd be perfect for this job. And then the next thing I know, Carl was calling my phone.
That's fucking sick, man.
And the next thing I know, that Titmouse wanted me to move because they were 2 months behind schedule already. And Dave Johnson was the character designer, and he couldn't hit the Golden State doing Steph Curry's doing the putting to sleep thing.
I know.
Golden State got 15 points with 3 minutes left.
It's time.
Yeah, he just hit the 3 and did the sleepy thing.
It's all over but crying. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and so he was like, yo, well, Titmouse needed. Dave Johnson was doing that design, and that's not his steez. It's like anime and stuff. Dave was amazing, but that wasn't his steez. And Dave, when he quit, he was like, yo, I know somebody that could do this. He recommended me. So then LaShawn recommended me. And then when they found out Dave Johnson did another guy, Ben Lee, who also knew of my work from DeviantArt. So Dave Johnson knew about my work. And Ben Lee was like, I think this guy, Chase Conley, could do it too. So this was 3 people that came from different sources that hadn't talked to each other that said recommended me for Black Dynamite in the same day.
Man.
Yeah. So then Shannon Panowski, Titmouse, she called my phone and was like, can you move to LA? I was like, well, I can, but I spent all my savings overseas. And she was like, well, how about you work from there for a month and stack up enough, and then we'll help you get an apartment. And then I was like, cool. But then 2 weeks went around, they were like, no, you know what, we really need you out here because they love my test so much that my test for Tommy Davidson's character, Cream Corn, is the model that they use for the show.
Yeah.
And so they were like, we need you out here to on this stuff, and you come out after 2 weeks. So I worked for 2 weeks, and then next thing I know, Shannon bought me a ticket, and I was in LA, and then she was like, you come live with us until you get on your feet. And I only stayed with them for 2
That's real shit, man. That's fucking dope. That's a dope ass background.
It changed my life, bro. And then say that shit, man. Carl Jones and the Panowski show. And they moved me to their dope ass crib, and then Shannon was like, here's the keys to my car, and she was like, here's the keys to the studio. You can go to the studio anytime you want. You can take this car anytime you want.
Carte blanche.
That's fucking dope.
And then I got, after 2 weeks, I'm a proud dude, so after 2 weeks I got a check, and I used that check to get my kid deposit, and then I got my own apartment.
Respect that, yeah.
And then I was supposed to go back home to Charlotte, because this was only supposed to be a 1 month trip to get started on this design, get my place, then come back and get my shit. I ended up having to stay because it got so breakneck for like 4 months living out of a suitcase. So I I was sleeping on the floor of my apartment for like the first four months, and then I got my roommate finally back home to pack up my stuff that was in Charlotte and send it.
This is a thing that I don't do like a lot of like people like. I know my audience is like a lot of them don't see this aspect of this. Like we have to like legit like be out on our own to the point where the wrong move could set us out of it.
Bro, that's months of the first 6 months.
Yeah.
You know how scary that is when you don't have
fucking scary shit, man. And I think
real fast.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Saying stupid shit to you online, like you don't know what it's like because you have a lot of followers. Like, oh, get the fuck out my face, bro. That's my experience to get where I am.
I hate that response.
Yeah.
It's a no experience, small brain kind of response.
It's crazy too because like I still like, not that it's trauma, but it feels like trauma in a way. Like I still live my life in that way. I live my life to the point where like I have to make sure I'm not fucking like doing that shit, bro.
No,
like,
you have to have that.
You have to have it.
You don't have like a. I mean, you can build up like a little nest egg for yourself, sure, but you never have like a guarantee from day to day if you're working like this. If you're working freelance, if you're working as an artist like this, you never have a guarantee. You are your guarantee.
Yep. Well, that's why you work. You gotta learn how to stagger. Now they're all smiling and shit. 1 minute left, you guys, and it's like 13-point game and shit. You know? Yeah. But anyway, that's it. That's it. You guys learn how to stagger stuff. Like my biggest thing was not learning how to invoice, especially working in comics. Because they'll hit you with they want you to invoice once every 30 days, so they can hold on to that bread and then have 30 days to fulfill that invoice. Yeah. Now you essentially work for 60 days without for free.
Sorry, Chase. Don't do that. You're not moving to LA now.
Don't do that shit. Like, yo, I invoice for. No, it's like weekly type sales by job. But it's like, oh, when I worked in comics full time, I had to learn that I invoice every week. Yes. So every 5 pages, or every 5 or every 6, I invoice. That way, I have a check coming in every week. And it takes them. Then I had to have them say that they would fulfill my check for me within 2 weeks. Especially if I'm gonna be working on something and I need to pipeline full. So you have 2 weeks to fulfill my check. So at best, I have to wait 3 weeks for pay, which sucks, but still better than waiting.
Yeah.
A month, 2 months, a year.
Atlantic took like 5 months to pay me one time. I hate working for regular companies, bro.
Yo, Nuri, how long did it take Marvel to pay you? A year?
Dude, Marvel be taking
damn near. But you know why? Part of the reason why it took so long is because the process to get paid is so convoluted.
Yeah.
A lot of like back and forth.
Yeah. Especially your first time getting paid with them.
Yeah. They gotta put you in a system.
And that wasn't really explained to me clearly.
They don't even understand it. That's the problem. They don't understand it 100% themselves because it's so convoluted. It can't be straightforward. Like, here, sign your name here, give me your information. Okay, cool. Now we will know to send you this money. No, you gotta hack into the system. You have to go through a couple different timelines. You gotta, like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, alternate parallel reality. BNS. How do I even network? No one knows me.
Just talk to people for him.
You gotta hustle, man.
You gotta hustle. This is networking. All right, talking to people, interacting with folks. That's the beginning of networking. Yeah. And then the other part of that is putting your work out there and then building some type of recognition around your art. Yeah. Because if the art is good and you form relationships around your art, then the rest will come in time.
Yeah, like as long as your fucking art is good, man, that's all that matters. You can just say, hey, you go up to anyone and say, hey, I think you like my art. Because if you like your art, you can sell it to somebody else who you like your art. You just fucking sell your work to people. That's literally what you do. It's I don't know. Maybe it was always easy for me because I grew up in a fucking like cult and I had to like reach people and shit. So like that's probably like a skill set I picked up from that. So like when it came to like my art shit, like I was able to just like tell people, hey, you know, like I could do this X thing or anything in general. Like I could do this X thing. Like back in high school, like burning CDs, right? I would burn CDs or like make these CDs for people for money, and I would just go in there and I would download songs that people want. It's like, hey, I could make you some mix CDs of like all your best shit, and I had like an actual like network of people who would just come to me for like new mixes of new songs that came out.
I used to change niggas' report cards.
Music what? That's amazing.
Yeah, because no, I had a technique with a ballpoint pen. I could turn your F to a B. I'm not playing. It was crazy. Because it was like it's like a typewriter thing almost. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I knew how to turn the F to a B. I got you. See, this is the thing. Once I get you for the first year, you got to keep coming back to me.
Yeah.
You can't just do it the whole time. So I was charging everybody for $10 a letter. Yeah.
Sometimes, Chase, I have no idea what you're actually gonna say. Like sometimes I just don't know, man.
The fucking funny. I knew somebody in my school who did that shit.
Bro, I'm telling you, I used to do it. I went to independent high school, yo. I used to bang niggas over the head, yo. I had my paper mate pen. I had my pens, everything ready. Because you had to have a kneaded eraser to lift up that ink so it didn't look like you were. Because you know that ballpoint pen has that sheen to it.
Yeah.
The ink has that sheen. The kneaded eraser takes that sheen off, you know.
That's
you
so
just that steady hand.
You were just a very attention-oriented dude from the very beginning, my man.
That's art. That's being an artist in general. Like you.
No. That's not being an artist, but it is the ingenuity. The ingenuity part. The adaptation.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that people come to you for things they can't do.
That part's fine. Yeah,
well, they did to me, like, so this was the thing. The homie came to me, the first guy came to me because he was like, yo, you can draw. Can you turn this to a B?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I did it, and then he was like, yo, this looks good. And so he showed everybody the next couple classes. And then I had last lunch. Next thing I know, I had 2 people that had skipped their lunch to come find me in my lunch.
Hell yeah, man.
Give me a report card.
That's my exact thought process. I was trying to find a way to make money off all these other companies. And I did. And this was like, why would you get in trouble for it?
Man, people great.
Yeah, so they figured it out. Unless somebody snitches, he's not gonna get in trouble for it.
Yeah, because none of people get in trouble for that kind of thing. Like if they get caught, they'd be like, oh, somebody did, and then get you in the office.
I guess he never got caught.
That's how good he was, man.
Nobody's snitching on me. Nobody's
Oh my god.
I mean, the worst is gonna happen. They can't give me that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This motherfucker that came to purchase this shit gonna get their ass whooped.
How are they gonna
real report card?
How are they gonna prove that you did it anyway?
I guess that's true. It's like, what is he talking about? I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Everybody gonna pay him. We got everything show a V. They were like, I didn't do it. Well, who did it? Thanks, Carly. Gonna be folding people saying it.
Funny. That's hilarious.
But that's like a fake ID or something.
Yeah.
Who you fake ID from?
But this is what we were talking about with the hustle mentality, man. Like you have to fucking approach people with that kind of fucking.
And then tattoo design.
Yeah.
The homie Johnny was the only cat that would do tattoos for young niggas and shit. That was good. So Johnny would tattoo out of Johnny died like 2 years after I got out of school.
May he rest in peace.
He looked good like that too, man.
Yeah, but he tatted everybody in the hood. You know what I mean? Like young to old and shit. Like if you was over 16, he tattooed you.
That's dope. That's dope though. Like that's how a lot of this stuff started. Like before you even had the internet or whatever, whatever. But like before you even had the internet, before you could like network the way we can network now, it was word of mouth stuff, man. It was you showing up.
What's gonna travel better than word of mouth than a 16-year-old coming to school with a badass tattoo? It's not a
right, and everybody knew about it.
And then they'd be like, "Yo, who did that?" The next thing you know, man, he had football teams lined up for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's how it be. That's
how it
is.
Yeah.
Your work and everything will precede you. Like this is true now, right? Like you can go and you can do all this lip service to all the people you want. Like, well, I went to Cal Arts and I did all this other stuff. But what people are looking for is what you did and what you may have potentially done for somebody else, and then they're raving about you like, bruh, did you see what this person did? That's the stuff. That's the sauce, man. That's when
That's
people
the
get
real shit.
excited.
This is why I always say, like, if you're good at something, you never have to worry about it. Like, you know you're good at something, you never have to worry about like that.
Keep doing it.
You just have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's what you want, man.
Because people do fall into obscurity if they just stop out of nowhere.
True.
Like, if that could happen.
Happens
I
every
know
day.
There's a few dope comics that like I can name off like Jason Pearson. Jason Pearson is like one of my most favorite like comic artists.
But doesn't he struggle with something? I know he struggled with like a lot of stuff, man. I don't want to be disrespectful.
Me not to be disrespectful either.
No, we're just like talking about it. But you're not talking about him.
We're not talking. Man, we're not talking about him. Like he's body packs. Oh my god.
98. Like
yes,
98,
dude.
Jason Pearson was undefeated.
He was fucking insane. Like absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that body was so good, man. I had never seen the art style like this.
Yeah, but
you know when he came back recently.
I know he's still doing some shit now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much. I remember he came back.
I don't want to talk about any of that.
But you remember that work he was doing then was fire.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, yo, he's still just as good.
He still has it. He hasn't lost it.
I hope he comes back, man, because
I think people
need his work, man.
Yeah, dude, he's so fucking good.
Yeah, that dude deserves his flowers.
Just hope the
you know what?
One.
You know the whole problem with that too is like the same Marvel shit that we're affected by was affecting him too. You know what I'm talking about? Like the same comic industry bullshit. That's probably like comic industry. Dude, I'm telling you, man. That's why I'm fucking. That's why I just can't, man. I can't fucking.
It runs people away, bro. That's why,
Yeah.
It took me 2 years to be like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I had to learn another job. I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
doing
same.
This.
Yeah, I was like,
not for like I love it. Like it's not that I'm not doing it. It's like it's all levels to it, right? You have to be realistic about what your job. What your skills are and all that stuff, right? You know, yada yada yada. But it wasn't where my heart was at anyway, so it made it easier for me to not do it. But you know, comics is still my first love, and if I can do them on my own, then that's cool. Like, or if I do them as a short stint on something, you know what I mean? But,
right. Or like a cover.
Comics, yeah.
Like a cover, you know.
The only way I'm doing comics is if it's my own shit at this level.
I feel you on that one, Rob. That's that, and I talked about that yesterday. That I feel like right now, I feel like every stream I talk about how garbage like the comics industry is. It makes me so sad.
No, it's really bad.
When I was younger, like even now I still love doing comics, right? And now I'm going to do it for myself. But like I would love drawing comics. And when I saw comics, I grew up on them. You know, Sonic comic was the first comic book I ever collected on my own, and I got into the other stuff, you know, the Marvels, your DCs, and all that stuff. And I wanted to be a comic artist. I wanted to be a manga artist at a certain point. I'm like, man, I want to get into comics. I want to do this stuff. And then I learned how bad the comic industry is, how bad it treats people. I really learned how bad it is when I got like way older, like you know, within like the last like decade. And like the fact that there's just no real like care to make sure people are compensated properly for the fact that these are the whole reason that these comics are as successful as they are. Because like, you know, if you just wrote all this stuff out as a book, half people wouldn't even give a crap about like any of these comic book characters or anything like that. It's the visuals, right? It's the visuals that go hand in hand with the stories that, you know, they're the ties that bind. And the fact that there's so little respect. I mean, there's good people in the industry. Don't get me wrong.
Bruh.
There's a lot of good people
Why is my shit going out
who
now?
respect the artists, people who care, you know, and a lot of them are artists respecting other artists. But this industry is just they're looking to get max value out of you without expending much. It's like Chase said, you know, if you're not focused on like invoicing these guys, if you're not up on what you have to do, they will absorb all the life essence out of you. You will be a
basically
husk.
one of those like give them an inch, they'll take a mile type shit.
Yeah. And it's sad. It's real sad, man. I was so disillusioned. I'm like, I don't want to be a comic artist. And
same, dude.
And anytime somebody, asks me, hey, I want to do comics and stuff, I'm like, do your own. Don't go into the comic industry. If you do a comic or something, do that because it's something that you really
want to do.
To get your name out there.
Get your name out there.
I think it's like that's what it's about. It's like use the company to get your name out there. It's still a really good way to advertise yourself. At one point in time, as an illustrator in America, it was the greatest way to advertise yourself. To do a comic, or do a cover because people bought shit and people still read stuff. But manga and anime has pretty much killed that shit.
They killed it off. Yep.
Well, they killed themselves because they started making garbage.
Garbage. Trash. Dog water. Yeah, I know.
Did I think you garbage out front, son?
Well, really, I think what happened is American comics just kind of turned into IP farms.
So I may have to close the stream.
So it's like nobody's writing it for the art form of what it is. Like you're not getting Watchmen anymore. Like where it's like Alan Moore wrote this and it only works in the format that you got it in. You know what I mean? 20th century boys. Why we don't have no equivalent to that shit in the States? What would be our equivalent to 20th century boys? Alan Moore is not even American. You know what I'm saying?
I'm drawing a blank for you right now. I got nothing.
I mean, comics is such a sad state where we can't even compare it. To be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just a different time period.
If something that somebody would tell me, they'd be like, "Oh, this is it."
It's just it's nothing.
I got nothing for you, man. It's just real bad. And also, the other part about it is listening to everybody's story and listening to sort of like Chase's beginnings. We told you guys this a lot, but when it does come to anything that has to do with the industry and people, because again, they need you, right? You need them because you want money, right? That's the only reason you would want you need them, and generally maybe because you really like the property, right? It is what it is, but they need you. You see how much they were willing to move heaven and earth to make sure that Chase could be there once they realized how much they could use it.
Yep.
Come live in my house.
Yeah. The thing was, they really did need me though, and I ended up being the only designer on that show for like 7 episodes. And I had to find like 100 characters per episode. Like, it was pretty intense. Like at least 10 make, because it's the first season.
Yeah.
So there's nothing. Everything can get to be done. Every crackhead, you know how many crackheads are there? and whore number 1, whore number 2. That's the real file thing.
And look, you listen. You're listening.
Amazon Moon Bitches. That's a real name.
And you're listening to that chat, and you're like, well, wait, those aren't like the main characters' names. Do you have any idea how important it is to have all of the characters in
all
a story?
The NPCs,
all of them.
Design.
That's why I'm like.
How do you gotta do them?
That's why I'm like.
They're not really complex in their design, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Either way, you gotta design.
They need to be designed because they are going to be animated and they're going to be a full functioning part of whatever episode or episodes that they are in. They need everything fleshed out. So it's like
it's like any project. You're making a world. You have to make everything that's in the world. You have to build a lore. You have to come up with design and look. All that shit.
Yeah.
The designs look better than the animation for sure. I'm sad because I don't have my hard drive anymore with all my work on it. I need to ask Titmouse if they have that on the server if I can get it somehow.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because I don't have any of those files anymore. I had all, and then Carl Jones kept the original drawings.
Okay.
Because I drew most of that stuff on paper because I hadn't learned how to use the Cintiq yet. I know how to work.
Oh yeah, damn, that's like fucking. Yeah, I definitely wasn't using Cintiq around that time. I was. 2010 I was, but I wasn't using it, or I wasn't drawing with that shit. I wasn't You know what I'm saying? Like it took me a
I
long
had never
time.
had one before. That was my first time even seeing one in real life.
Yeah, I didn't even know that existed at that time. I knew there was tablets. I didn't know there was what a Cintiq was. I don't even know if I had my first tablet at that point. Maybe
I bought my first tablet in high school.
I had a Graphier. That shit was like
I
smaller
had that
shit.
Graphier. I had a the Graphier 2 or something like that.
I had that gray one.
I wasn't drawing with that shit. I was using the mouse, coloring with the mouse was smoother than the regular.
I had that gray one. What was that one called? I don't know what that was.
That was the Graphier.
Oh,
the
maybe
Graphier 4.
Yeah, maybe
mine
was a 3.
The gray one. I had the medium. The one that cost like 220.
Yeah, I had the smallest one.
It was screenless, right? So you know you're looking up at the monitor when you're working at that thing was like this big.
Yeah, I was wondering
if
y'all can see it, but
I still have it.
My tablet was fucking up. That's why.
Yeah,
I could color with it.
It's technically still fucked up.
I worked with this thing for like over 20 years.
Cause it's not drawing the way I need it to
crazy,
draw.
dude. I remember like I got my first Cintiq because I remember when they first revealed it, and I was like, damn, I want that because I had the Graphier and I was not able to draw that shit. And I was like, oh, if I get this thing, I would definitely be able to draw like how I would. Like,
yeah, look at this. Look at the screen, chat. This is what I used for over 20 years. This thing right here.
Oh yeah, I never had that. That's the big one.
That's the big one.
Yeah, this is considered the big one, chat.
Well, I had one that was that big, but the screen space was bigger.
Yeah, this has no screen on it at all.
Did that one come with a mouse?
That Intuos 4? That was my last tablet.
Yeah, I think this one did come with a mouse, right?
They came with a mouse. Like, I remember when those early Wacom tablets, they all came with like an extra mouse.
Yeah. It's a gray mouse. It's a gray mouse.
It came with one.
Yeah. It came with one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually you could get like a tablet pen for it as well. That was when things really opened up.
Can't never go wrong with a Sailor Moon S.
I was working like a 9 to 5 job, and then like I was like pulling in like commissions, and mind you, I was like charging like $15, $20 for commissions from this time.
Yeah.
So I was pulling in like a shitload of commissions to get the CT. The CT probably cost like $1,500.
We all did those garbage, rush prices to get money to do stuff.
It was like I remember it was a struggle getting that shit, man, because like shit just kept coming up in like my life, like deals that came up out of nowhere that I want to trade. I was like, man, I really want this fucking thing. I know if I get it, my productivity will like fucking like double. And like, yeah, it's like I finally fucking got it like after like I don't know, will of God, and then like I wasn't really able to use it because I was like, man, I'm ass at this. I thought it was gonna be like as easy. It's like the process is just like all over me. I
had so many tutorials by that point because I had been coloring with the mouse and stuff. I had learned Photoshop and everything.
No, but even
the very first time I got my Graphier, well, I got the Graphier because my art teacher at school, high school, commissioned me in 11th grade. She commissioned me to draw kids. So I had been selling artwork by the time I was like 16 all over the place.
Oh, real quick, boys, do me a favor.
Yeah, I was stuffing.
Do me a favor. Drop your socials in the chat. People are asking for it. Yeah, just grab whatever. Drop them in the chat. That is Jumdo. By the way, those of you that are popping through the stream, welcome. I'm your friendly neighborhood overlord, JC, and I'm joined by the Triple Threat, Roboto Art, Saint Chase, and Action Hank here. All of them are in here with us tonight. We're talking, industry. We're talking jobs. We're talking, getting them, things around getting them, the I guess the atmosphere around it, everything. I hope you guys are comfortable. There you go. And my socials, you can always pull my socials up. ! Socials, or you can just look underneath the screen itself. And my stuff is right there.
Oh, everybody put links. I put mine. I just
That's it.
Easy way to get to you.
Yeah, man.
Make them do it. They ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. Like, you gonna have to earn this. Type me in the search bar.
But yeah, it took me a while to learn this. Well, I was already using Photoshop like with a mouse for years, and because I had like that's when Chamba was like one of the first people like I met online, and Chamba was doing his shit with like a mouse for years.
Yeah.
Like
that optical mouse shit.
Yeah, dude.
That one cat.
Royce.
Who?
Nah, y'all remember Warlocks? You remember that dude Seed? You remember El Sevilla?
I know El Sevilla.
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah. Oh, I remember him. Yeah.
Remember that he used to go on over exaggerated kind of like RPG looking style drawing.
Yeah.
It's the dude, the two guys that used to color his artwork were like an online studio, and they did comic coloring. One of them name was Etienne Saint Laurent.
I remember that.
He went by Warlocks back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Like they was on the Eat Poo boards and then the Opti Res boards and then all that stuff or whatever. I still talk to Etienne every now and then. But,
that's cool.
What was I doing with that shit? I was talking about SVO.
Oh, we were talking about like optical mouse shit.
Oh yeah, but Warlocks, he still uses that shit to this day. I think.
Some people just don't change.
Like, strange. Like yo, he still uses the fucking mouse.
Hey man, if it ain't broke,
I guess.
You know, Alex Konstad still paints on a tablet and draws on a tablet, which is so weird to me. He's a
wait, he what?
Yeah, Alex Konstad. He doesn't use his feet. He uses a tablet.
Oh, I mean I think that's still like that's not like. I know a lot of people that still use tablet. I mean, Barnes has to use it. Like,
look, the freaking artist for Persona, he still uses a tablet. He doesn't use a
so he's using a tablet for sure. I mean, yeah, if you're already used to something, then there's no point to it. Yeah, but me personally, I couldn't fucking draw with the fucking tablet. It's just like my hand and eye coordination. Like I need to see what I was drawing. Yeah.
Whenever I used the Cintiq, it was weird. As soon as I used the Cintiq, I tried to go back to the tablet, and my brain was like, "We don't do it."
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I was like, "Yo, what happened?"
Yeah, they're like, "Whoa, wait.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Definitely what fucking happened.
Hey.
That's
like chill, y'all.
That's a perfect description.
Yeah, we're better
The
than
funny
this.
thing is, that's
Yeah,
probably
we
my
have
fucking
moved on.
tablet. That shit was not
Yeah, I
working.
understand because when I went to Canada to learn 3D. I went up there to learn 3D animation pipeline stuff, right? And I learned ZBrush and Maya and the ill-fated Mudbox and Softimage. Rip both of them. I got my hands on for the first time, like to sit down with and use big boy. This was like a 36-inch television. No, this is like a big 30-something inch Cintiq I'm sitting in front of, and I'm drawing on it, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to go back to using a tablet.
Like it's almost like you're not supposed to be talking like, man, I missed the hood.
Yeah, I mean, I still went back and I still used that little gray tablet for like another couple years before I finally got the one that I'm working on right now. Yeah, this is the first screen tablet I've ever owned.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy you held out for that long.
Hey, look, I was very comfortable working on just working on that screen.
You actually moved. Like, it's kind of crazy, but I moved all along. Like I was like, man, he gets like he's gonna get like 200% fast.
You said that, man. I was just like, oh, yeah, all right. I'm like, I feel you. Yeah, look, it's a different world. Having that one-to-one connection again.
Yeah,
is nice. So definitely. Yeah, man.
You say Hank Beard. What was that a reference to?
Yeah, Action Hank Beard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if he gets an iPad, it's a wrap.
I am eventually gonna get one.
Like sometimes I still struggle with it. Cause I know like I can do the same thing. I can draw on my computer and I can draw on the iPad, but it's just so fun drawing on the iPad. Like I don't know, I can't explain it.
I know it's gonna take me back to the old days when I used to have one of those big. It was like one of these big sort of like brown like writing boards or whatever. You could take what you sit down and you had this thing to sit there and you could draw on it. I had one of those. Yeah, I had one of those. And I would be sitting on my own bed and then I would be drawing like on top of that, or I'd be drawing on a clipboard or something like that. And then it was good times, man. And like having an iPad,
I gotta restart my whole computer.
Do that again. That's probably
gonna
take me back.
That's pretty much what it is, and you can just actually do full ass finish work with that shit.
Yeah, that's gonna take me back. I might not get out of bed sometimes. I'm scared.
It be like that, dude. Like sometimes, man,
I'm scared.
Like I worked. I remember the first time like I picked up like my iPad like to use in a serious professional manner. And like once I got used to that, I didn't go to the desk for months, man. Like I was legit fucking. I did like most of the shit on Boondocks, bro, on the iPad.
It's not good, man.
Yeah.
Like I like being at my desk because I like to this is where like all my music is at and everything like that.
Yeah, I gotta end the stream. I gotta go ahead and end the stream, bro. With my computer because I knocked it out of place, or I can restart it. But I gotta restart my whole computer.
It's cool, yeah. I like being at the desk because it's also kind of like a mental shift too.
I'm gonna keep trying.
There is something about that, especially when you work from home, to having a space where you're more focused on being like this is the office space. I'm gonna be productive here, right? Yeah.
That's why I set up my office space the way that I did. Kind of like break the work area from the chill area.
It has to be. It has to have.
We're streaming for about 2 hours, so it's not that bad.
I get it, man. Dang, it's pretty cool listening to people's origin stories. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't know the details of Jason's music. It was really cool, like hearing that shit, man.
Yeah, before you wore the mask, like who are you, right? And it's just like, okay, I see my man's was in Korea.
No, I always had the mask on. I just was over there like I was on my walkabout like Nick Dundee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was just gathering. The wisdom of the sages and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, you just reminded me, man. Like when you fucking like you're arguing with the dude about your money, man. It's kind of funny because like I went into art to avoid having to fucking.
Bro, that was the last. Try to scream on some nigga about my money.
Chase somebody down about your money.
I had the same kind of shit happen to me. I was like,
what the
bro.
fuck?
I have that. Yeah, dude. And it's like you also have to cross the line because you're black too, so it's like you can't act out too crazy.
Crazy, dude.
But yeah, I definitely. I was like, man, give me my money, bro.
I was waiting for you to take that interview on Marvel, Nuri, but you were actually busy at the time, so I guess.
I was waiting too. I was like, man, Nuri is not snapping at these dudes. Like,
reason why, because it's the thing. It wasn't ever a question of.
They hadn't paid me yet either though at that time. They asked Nuri to link. Remember when you asked me about that shit? Like, I hadn't been paid.
It wasn't a question of whether or not they would pay me. I expected them to pay me. I was just trying to figure out if it was something that I should have been doing.
Right.
To move the process along, and it turns out that I was. I just didn't know it, and it was because it wasn't communicated to me before. So like. Part of the blame is on me, part of the blame is on them. But I mean, ultimately, though, I still think
I'm actually about to shut the stream down, Coolio.
Like, I do
yeah, word, bro. I appreciate you for stopping through. My computer fucked up on me and it's starting to act weird with the pencil.
I like it like that.
Yeah. But I'm just drawing some.
The same thing happened to Judy and too many other people that we know. So it's like you can't really. At this point, it's like either everybody else is lying or that's really how it is. It's just
been doing some OC
I go
shit.
by the empirical evidence that's in front of me, man. I see it.
I don't like how to think about money, man.
You can never go wrong with the Sailor Moon
deadlines.
Design.
So
you got more work, you got more money.
My money.
Yeah, I need to stream more.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Just the fact, and then those dudes just sound like con artists. The brothers.
Yeah, let me get on this.
They are, yeah.
This is agitating me.
That's literally
it's really agitating me. I can't draw
in therapy.
Brothers,
the way I want to.
I don't know what they do now these days.
Coolio, thank you for stopping by. True, thank you for stopping by. Anybody else that's watching the stream, follow me. Circle.
CEOs and shit, man. Like
you're better off doing the work for yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just eating the time to get over the hump and get that shit done. It's just hard. Like Like with my movie shit I'm trying to do with Rawson, I've just decided like
All
one,
platforms.
I don't want to not have a job in LA. Two, I don't want to give up my place in line. I mean, I've been working my ass off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I earn my positions in every job that I've been in. You know what I mean?
Like that. We
I took no shortcut, so it's like I want to try to do that too. And I just realized, I'm gonna have to give up like 3 days a week for the next like year that I would like that after work. You know what I mean? So I really only probably get 1 or 2 days a week to myself after work. You know, and it's one day off to really get this shit done. Like work Wednesdays and Thursdays for 3 hours.